inside the storybook? Look at that pirate ship. And those stars. This is so much fun. It really makes the story come to life. Hi, welcome back. We have an amazing guest on our show today. And let's get to visiting him right now. And you'll get to hear all about what I'm wearing. This special headset. Okay, let's get visiting our friend now. We are excited to meet our special guest today. We are going to meet Michael Wong. He is the owner of Peeka VR. We will learn all about Michael and about Peeka VR. Hello, Michael. How are you today?
Hey, Think Ahead Kids and Robert. I'm so happy to be here and talking about Peeka today and immersive virtual reality picture book experiences. I bet it's the first time you've heard about something like that. Really excited to share about it, and I'm so grateful to be here with you this morning.
Wonderful. Yes. Can you tell me a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, sure. And I think that's going to be a decent segue to how I started Peeka. My name is Michael, and today I'm 28 years old, and I live here in Seattle, Washington. So does my team, my Peeka team. And I grew up here in Washington. I went to school in Southern California because I wanted to work at Disneyland, and I got to work at Disneyland. I wanted to make rides at Disneyland. I love immersive experiences, right? Right. So that's the stuff I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about immersion and experiences, and I got my English degree. I'm very interested in reading as well, and so that kind of sums up how I started also Peeka. I came home from school, right? I had to be closer to my mom, and lived here in Seattle. And at the time, my cousin, was 9 years old at the time, had to do his reading assignments with me on the phone, and that was just very it was a lot for his mom and me and him to do every single day. So I was like, I was just discovering virtual reality. This is 2015. And I was like, whoa, I put my first headset on in 2015. And we'll describe for you all what it's like to be in the virtual reality. But it blew my mind. And I knew that it felt like being in a Disneyland ride, but like at my house. So I was like, okay, how can we help kids like fall in love with reading again using this technology, virtual reality? And also potentially use these devices, these phones that are kind of taking kids away from reading and books, but use them to kind of bring them back, right? So that's the big idea of Peeka. Like, again, you put the headset on and it feels like you're jumping into the pages of beloved storybooks. So I'll just stop there.
It sounds like the inspiration came from helping a family member, a little boy. Did he have a hard time with reading, or was he not interested in books?
Great question. I think this is going to be maybe not the people who come watch your show, but like I think parents and educators understand these days is different than my generation. Even very difficult to get kids to fall in love with reading. It feels more like just something they need to do at school, and it's hard in a screen dominated world, right? Which we live in. I don't think there's any way to separate those things anymore. Kids grow up in a world where this is part of their life. And oftentimes, they're using this device to go on YouTube and do whatever, to go play Roblox or watch people play Roblox on YouTube.
Oh, yes.
But like, I think it's such a powerful tool. It's just a computer in your pocket. What else can we do with it, right? So, yes, my family member, I was able to help him. But also, I think it's the same story for a lot of kids around the nation right now. It's difficult to get engaged with books. Just be mindful and do one thing for an hour, right? So I think Peeka is helping give kids background knowledge of, hey, there's books that are dope and cool, and you can jump into them and maybe explore some more books in the library that are just like it.
Oh, yes. Okay, this sounds very interesting. You created something where kids can be a part of the story that they are reading. You mentioned virtual reality. Can you tell us what is virtual reality?
Yeah, sure. And I was gonna share a clip here, but sometimes my computer gets weird when I start sharing stuff, so I'll just try my best to describe it.
Yes, that's fine.
But I'll say this, and this is a semi-famous quote in the industry now, that talking about virtual reality is like dancing about architecture. It's very difficult. It's like weird concept to try and describe what it's like in the headset. But this is what it's like. Well, I'll anchor it this. If you've ever been to Disneyland or like Disney World, and I know, not everybody has been able to, but if you have, just picture with me for a moment. It's like the rides that are in Fantasyland. These are like, they're called dark rides. They're rides that take you through the movies of like Snow White, Peter Pan, Pinocchio, old storybook type movies. And you're just seated in a little craft and you move through these scenes that are like built out in a built environment. Pika's like that too. We just use this little cardboard headset, and you put your phone in there like this, right?
Yes.
And so you put the headset on,
Okay.
and when you move your head, inside of that headset, there's a whole new world. So like when you put the headset on, you can't see anything else but that world. And when you move your head, like it's like you're in a different place. Yeah, just like that, Robert. When you move your head, you're in a different place,
Okay.
and there's depth. So like things are far away from you, things are close to you, and things can get close to you. It's kind of crazy, right? So bringing to life some of these pages of beloved storybooks, just think about some of the ones you love. I'm thinking about Where the Wild Things Are right now.
Yes.
Imagine jumping into the headset, and instead of just looking at these pages of these monsters, going in the headset and swinging on the branches with the monsters yourself. That's a Pika thing.
That sounds fascinating. I'm not only reading a book, but I'm seeing the images come to life.
How cool is that, right? And you're being, and more than that, Robert, you're you're making things happen in the story too. You have, I don't want to call it superpowers, but like the pages aren't turning unless you're turning them. Things aren't happening unless you make them happen in the book. And that, and parents and educators, what we expect is that's going to help your students remember more of what happened in the story when they have agency over making things happen in the story, right? So it's super fun, and it's very helpful for kids to learn more.
It sounds like your stories and the virtual reality can help increase the child's comprehension and help them remember the stories.
Yeah, I think there's 3 big things that we're working on at Pika to help kids fall in love with reading and be better readers, be better learners. And it's 3-pronged. The first thing is motivation, right? Reading motivation. How do you get a kid to want to pick up a book? How do you get a kid not to groan and moan when they're going to, let's go to the library?
Yes.
How do you get them to like not make it such a big ordeal when it's time to do a book report? That's reading motivation. How can we make books more fun? Bang. 2, comprehension. How can kids remember more of what happens in the story? And these are the last 2 facets I'm going to bucket together: comprehension and retention. How can they remember more of what happened and understand more of what happened? When things are happening to you, you have a better opportunity to remember that it happened, instead of being a passive participant, someone reading a book to you that you might be tuned out of. When you're in virtual reality and it's happening to you, I don't want to liken this to a game, like video games, but it has those elements, right? Where just like a Disneyland ride might feel like a video game come to life, this just feels like a video game that's kind of on your head, but you're in a book. And it's not like I'm trying to shoot anybody down or anything. Sometimes I'm putting out fires. We have books where we're putting out fires with firefighters.
Books.
Yeah, they're all picture books. That's right. So, and I should say that. Thank you that I didn't get to say that, Robert. We make picture books come to life in virtual reality. So we're not working on holes yet, or Hatchet. We're working on illustrative books that we can make the images come to life and put the kids right in.
The books you are talking about, it sounds like they are children's books. About what age level are these books for?
Yeah, I would say, and I don't mean to make this super simple, but like picture book age readers. And the reason I'm saying that is because that runs a spectrum. Maybe your 7-year-old is reading picture books, maybe your 12-year-old's reading picture books.
You're right, yes.
And maybe your grandfather who's coming from a different country who's learning English might be reading picture books to learn the language, right? So
that's great. That's a great idea.
People who are picture book readers are perfect users for Pika. And it's more just like a Disneyland ride might be interesting to somebody who is not a young person. There's a novelty that kind of helps create a spectrum for us of users. So, sorry, I'm using parent language, right? But yeah, lots of different people can use Pika, from young kids to older kids to parents. It's the subject that matters, not necessarily like, hey, we made this for kids. It's fun for everybody, but also it's really helpful for kids who want to love learning.
Wonderful. I had one last question about your books. Are the stories being read to you, or are you reading the stories yourself?
Great question. It's being read. The 2 things are happening. So And I'll talk to Robert and the team to see if we can get a video clip up. But if not, just follow me when I describe this. You hit stars in Peeka, so you have a little dot that moves when you move your head, and there's stars all around you, and only one at a time. So when you hit a star, things come to life. The pages turn, the words come out. So to answer your question, Robert, two things happen.
Okay.
Words come out just like a picture book does, and looks just like the picture book might out there right in front of you. And also there's a narrator, so it creates some familiarity with the words. It's good for kids who aren't readers yet, but also helps them move through the story with some narration and a bunch of sound and music and sound effects. But yes, the words are right there on the screen, so we're hoping that it creates some familiarity with kids and the text and the audio.
Oh, great. This is wonderful. I hear you have some incredible things happening with T-Mobile. And what is T-Mobile?
Yeah, some of you kiddos might not know what the heck T-Mobile is, but it's one of 3 or 4 major companies that power internet and cell phones and just talking on the phone and using data. It's T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, those type of companies, right? So maybe even some of your parents use T-Mobile to power their cell phones and the internet at the house. We teamed up with T-Mobile they have a little program called Magenta Kids. It's like an employee engagement program that engages the families of employees at T-Mobile. And every single kid in Magenta Kids is going to be able to get one of these little Magenta headsets, with a collaborative headset we made with T-Mobile.
Very nice.
And yeah, it's really cool. And 150 tokens with this little postcard, and that's a lot. I mean, Robert and the team know about the tokens.
Yes.
The Peeka app uses tokens, which you buy, and you get free tokens when you join, by the way. We'll talk about how to get there in a second. But every kid in the T-Mobile activation is getting their own headset. It's over 10,000 kids, and also their own tokens for the app.
Wow.
It's huge. It's huge not only for like T-Mobile and Peeka, of course. It's huge for the VR industry.
Yes.
Put that many headsets into kids' homes. And we're making content that the parents and educators love. So it makes a lot of sense.
You are on such a great mission to get kids excited about reading. Where can our viewers find out more about you?
So this is simple. I would start at peekavr.com. PEEKA VR.com.
Okay.
From there, you can find our download links. You can download us on our Android or iPhone. Just type in Peeka VR in your 2 words in your app stores. And also the same Peeka VR on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn if you're over there too. So we're on socials. We love posting videos. If you want to see what it looks like in the headsets, go to our Instagram, instagram.com/PeekaVR. That stuff's on our website too, peekavr.com.
Oh, great. On your website, they will be able to learn more about Peeka VR and how to get the app and everything they will need for their phones so they can enjoy their virtual reality story time.
Yeah, so kids, if this is interesting to you and it's interesting to your parents, check it out. I'll try and get at least some links in the description to this video so you can see what it looks like. If we can't get the clip on here, but I bet it's been at least kind of interesting. Like, wait, what are they talking about? When you see what's like in this headset, you'll know why we're doing this, why people are talking about virtual reality on the commercials all the time. It's a crazy technology, and we're using it to help your kids love learning and love reading again.
Oh, wonderful, Michael. Before we go, what would you say to a little kiddo out there that has a hard time reading or has a hard time finding a book that he or she really likes?
There's 2 things I would tell you. I know that it's difficult to try and fall in love with reading in a world that is, where you can use YouTube instead to like get your stories. It all comes down to stories, right?
Yes.
Let me tell you that if I'm talking to you kids, if the idea of virtual reality is cool to you, just know that books are the original virtual reality. Where you open a book and it has these words and whoa, like now you're transported to a new world. Doesn't that sound cool? Your library is full of that stuff right now. Stuff that you haven't. The next time you watch a YouTube video or a movie and you're like, oh my God, or hear a song and you're like, oh my God, how have I never heard that song before? This is my favorite song now. Unlimited amount of books like that in your library right now. Okay.
Yes.
When you go to the library, go talk to the librarian. Well, if it's your school library, if it's the library in your hometown, they know all the books and they know the book that is going to be perfect for you and what you want right now. Imagine that. You go on Netflix and you go see what they're suggesting for you to watch next, and maybe it's interesting, maybe it's not. No, the librarian will tell you exactly the book that will blow your mind.
A library, yes. They have a lot of wonderful books there. They have them at your school or in your own city.
I challenge you to talk to your librarians. Tell them what you like what kind of YouTube videos you like, what kind of movies you like, what kind of stories you like, and they'll help you fall in love with a book that will change your life. I'll tell you what, kids, the young adults, you're gonna be a young adult one day. The young adults who read, they do better than the ones that don't. So try your best to fall in love with a book. There's so many ways to do it. Peeka is one of them. Talking to your librarian is one of them. Reading is cool.
Yes, definitely. We love books here at Think Ahead Kids.
It's fun. It's also cool. So reading is cool, and you can do it on Peeka. You can do it at the library. We appreciate the time. Thank you, Robert, for having us.
Oh, we had such a wonderful time with you today, Michael. We learned so much about you and your company, Peeka VR. We encourage everyone watching to go and check them out. Okay, we'll talk to you later, Michael. Thank you.